Welcome back to Jersey Matters. We're coming this week from the conference room just outside the office of the President of the New Jersey State Senate, Steve Sweeney. You're in the middle of a stalemate now with the governor. I guess it's in the very early stages of that stalemate. He came forward and nominated a judge, a Superior Court judge from Monmouth County for the Supreme Court, David Bauman. Before we get into the stalemate and the problems you may have with that nomination, do you have a problem with David Bauman?
Not at all.
Do you think he's qualified?
I think we just gave him tenure again. I mean, we just voted him lifetime tenure. I have no issue with David Bauman at all. My issue is with packing the courts, and that's what the governor's trying to do. And look.
Isn't he allowed to do that?
The governor is allowed to nominate, and everyone says, I have a constitutional responsibility to hold a hearing. Well, the framers of our Constitution, and everyone says how smart they were, and they were very bright, absolutely says we need to hold a hearing. They didn't say within 180 days, within a year. They didn't give a time frame. They were smart people. You know, to prevent what the governor's trying to do right now, which is move a court all the way to the right. And we're not going to do it. You know, Larry, we consider Jane LaVecchia a Republican. Everything we've seen shows her as a Republican.
The governor claims she's independent.
And I've had this argument with him before. And at the end of the day, we have appointed 3 Republican associate justices under his administration. LaVecchia is 4 in our book. We're not going to have a 5-2 court. You know, we can have an honest disagreement, but LaVecchia was appointed by a Republican, worked in Republican administrations, donated to Republicans, not Democrats. She's a Republican.
You made a strong argument. So I assume you agree with what the Republicans are doing in Washington.
No, I really don't, because there's a difference here in New Jersey. And it's not because I'm doing it. We have the ability and have had the ability per the Constitution to bring up the senior appellate judge. You know, over the years, we've had appellate judges on the bench for periods of time, and there has never been an issue with that. So in Washington, they have an 8-member court now. There's no way to break it, a tie. It's a 4, it's 4-4, it's a tie. Here, we still have a full complement, 7 judges.
They make the same argument that they don't want the court to go to the left.
Understood. But the point is, we've had a history in New Jersey since the Constitution was formed in 1947 that the governor was entitled to a majority. A slight majority, whoever the governor is in office. Well, that's been honored. It's 4-3. It's 4-3 right now.
You called the governor's actions in an article a Trump-like attempt to stack the court. What does that mean?
Well, listen, he's Donald Trump's surrogate now. He's running all around the country, being Donald Trump's his surrogate. So. He's going to do actions and do things that Donald Trump would like. Trump is trying to they're all playing into this ultra conservative right-wing philosophy. And what's more important than packing the Supreme Court to guarantee outcomes? New Jersey's got a great system, better than any system around us. New York and Pennsylvania elect their judges, which means judges hold fundraisers and they raise money. It's not what you want. We appoint judges. And we have a great system, and I'm not going to let the governor, in the last 2 years of his term, change it. If he nominates a Democrat, we will have a hearing for a Democrat, and I've told him that over and over again.
He says there will be chaos. He says he's going to do things in response to you not having hearings that he never did before. A lot of people seem to think that he's going to not renominate some of the lower court judges, and there's 19 Democrats that he could hold up.
If he goes where he shouldn't go, he does it at his own risk. That's all I'm telling you. I'm not going to go any further than that. He does it at his own risk.
There's something, can you give us a hint what you could do?
Just like he wouldn't give you what he's going to do. If he wants to go someplace he shouldn't go, we can go someplace.
But you do have a plan?
Absolutely.
The gas tax.
Yes.
Is it going to happen?
Well, I'm talking to my Republican colleagues right now. Larry, the governor says, well, just give us a plan. Well, we're not just going to throw something out there so he can just beat the crap out of it and then have nothing at the end of the day. So we're talking to our Republican colleagues on fixing our infrastructure. You're not going to improve the economy of this state until we have a real infrastructure plan. And it costs money. There are no free roads. If you want to have property tax relief, you need to have a TTF fund because the towns and counties get money from the state. When towns and counties don't get money from the state, they bond, and their bonds are paid with property taxes. So we need to put a TTF back and Transportation Trust Fund back in place in order to get the state moving again. There's light rail we want to get. We want to get the Bergen-Hudson light rail done. We want to get the Camden-Gloucester light rail done. We want to invest more in mass transportation. That's what brings the business.
Yeah, and I've heard, and I'm surprised, I've interviewed many people, many Republicans who say, yeah, there has to be a gas tax. I've interviewed the head of the Chamber of Commerce who said, yeah, there has to be a gas tax. They're talking about it as high as 25 cents, that would bring in the much needed money, anything short of that. But a lot of people are saying it should be tax neutral. We should save taxes somewhere else if they're going to do that.
It's not possible. You know, Larry, we introduced, Senator Paul Sarlo introduced a bill to repeal the estate tax and raise the threshold for retirement income to $100,000 because New Jersey has some bad tax policy. And that's about $500–600 million. You're never going to make it neutral or even. Larry, if you poll people and say, do you want to raise taxes? The answer is no. But if you poll people and say, do you want to reduce your commute times? New Jersey has the longest commute times in the nation because it's the most densely populated. Our commute times on average are 38 minutes, longest in the nation. So if you tell people you want to improve your commute, guess what? They'll say yes. And the greatest example of an investment in transportation is the Turnpike. Anybody that travels the Turnpike now and had traveled it a few years ago sees what happens when you make an investment.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
You got a lot going on.
Yeah.
We'll be watching.
Thank you.
The President of the New Jersey State Senate, Steve Sweeney. I'm Larry Menti. We'll be right back.